Hi, welcome to Rajal Nair. Today I am going to explain you about the kind of documentation what a business analyst has to prepare in any of the application development. So as you all well aware about, the business analysis is all about understanding the requirements of the customer by understanding their business problem, providing solutions for them accordingly. In this view, usually being a business analyst, there are a couple of documents which normally we prepare, which are as follows. The first document is what we call it as business functionality related information, where something relating to the business services followed by the kind of applications they were using. Along with that, infrastructure is what we have to consider. Based on that, the first document, what is that being a business analyst has to prepare is called current state analysis document. In this current state analysis document, we have to explain about the business functionalities of the customer. At the same time, we need to understand about the process and services of the as-is system. As-is is nothing but the system which customer is using at this point in time. That's what we call it as as-is stands for. So followed by understanding about the as-is system so that you come to know what are the difficulties a customer is facing at this point in time, end users and stakeholders. So based on that, what kind of solution to be provided in near times will be decided by us accordingly. So hence, knowing about as-is system is something essentially required. At the same time, knowing about the stakeholders is also equally required, because stakeholders may be of different people, either it may be direct or indirect stakeholders. Knowing about stakeholders is also essentially needed. After knowing about the stakeholders, whatever the findings we have identified, the kind of pain points in reference to the problem of the customer, what is that they were facing, what kind of findings we have made based on the research as well as interacting with the stakeholders. At the same time, whatever the recommendations we have identified so far comes under the first document, which is called current state analysis document. The second document called project vision document, where here we are trying to understand as well as to write problem statement, the kind of business problem what customer is facing. At the same time, what is the desired outcome of the statement? So this is based on the assumption of the research what we have made, being a BAT. So this may not be the final outcome. Maybe once we see the difficulties, feasibilities, once we made a study out of it, so that final outcome will be decided both by the business and as well as functional and technical teams later. At the same time, acceptance criteria must be known to us well in advance. What are the acceptance criteria points to be taken into an account will also be taken into consideration. Apart from acceptance criteria, the next is that stakeholder analysis, where we need to do RACI matrix. Using RACI matrix and all, stakeholder analysis will be done. Followed by this, whatever the high-level business requirements customer has and whatever the high-level business requirements customer is having, so that information be updated here. Apart from that, business context of the business from the end user perspective, followed by in and out of scope of the project. Scope is something essentially important whenever we are going to develop any project, because scope nothing but possibility. What are the possibilities do we have? Is there any kind of room? Do we have to add some new requirements into the existing stuff later? Or do we have sufficient requirements or not? Do we have sufficient infrastructure, manpower? All these things has to be taken into an account when we are talking about the scope of the project. So all these things comes under project vision document. This is the second point. The third is that solution vision document. So almost whatever the points will be taken into an account under the project vision document, the same points will be taken here. So based on that, apart from that, we need to understand about the overview of the solution. What is that we have proposed? Please do remember, solution may vary slightly based on the initial confirmation what we have after conducting some feasibility study, all that. So based on that, to be capabilities, to be is nothing but the one which you are going to develop. In business analysis terms, there are two things. One is as is and second is to be. As is nothing but the existing system which customer is using, followed by to be nothing but the one which you are going to develop. So we have to understand about the to be capabilities based on the functional and as well as non-functional requirements, what is that we need to develop. At the same time, we must be knowing about the context of the business, followed by the scope of the project, all that stuff. So the first is current state analysis, which we have to do, followed by project vision document. At the same time, solution vision document. So these are the three different documents will be prepared in the initial stages. So once this is done, the next we prepare business requirements document, where scope of the business requirements followed by the kind of business rules, what is that we have to confine to, because every organization has some business rules to be followed in order to make their process more effective and all. So there are some business rules are involved in it, so that knowing about the business rules is required. At the same time, we must be knowing about what are the assumptions and as well as dependencies to be taken into an account. At the same time, what is the business process are you going to follow for a to-be system, followed by this out of scope business requirements. So these are the informations which will be mentioned under business requirements document, being a business analyst. So once business requirements document was prepared, the next is business process design document, where here designing of the as is and as well as to be system has to be implemented, followed by understanding about the scope as well as the confirmation what is that we did. Based on that, we need to prepare some use case model, where in this use case model, we have to prepare different use cases, because for every functionality, there is a use case where we need to understand about pre and post condition. At the same time, what are the criteria to be followed to make it successful? What are the exceptions do we have and all, everything comes under use case part. It's not only about developing use case templates, use case information, followed by this use case diagrams will also be prepared. These are all comes under UML, right? So UML diagrams like use case diagrams and all, everything will be prepared using different tools. Something like star UML, rational rows, Visio, Lucid charts, all that. So different diagrams will be prepared under use case model. After that, use case specification will be prepared. In this specification, we have to mention about the functional requirements, followed by the kind of market and as well as the business rules. What is that we have to understand before you are making the solution out of it. So once the use case specification is done, the next is about system-wide requirements. We are completely focusing on the technicalities of the project, the kind of assumptions we have to keep into an account, what are the availabilities and what are the connectivities. At the same time, what are the external as well as internal interfaces, all that. At the same time, you need to understand about the security aspects of the application development. Is there anything relating to the security aspects to be added to the existing ones? At the same time, non-functional requirements, something focused more about the performance, scalability, load balancing, all that will comes under system-wide requirements. So once the system-wide requirements prepared, the last but not least, solution glossary, where we need to provide the solution. What is that we have collectively identified and finalized, that solution name followed by the components of it, and what are the terms per functionalities and all this information will be mentioned under solution glossary. So these are the different documents followed by the kind of steps being a business analyst one has to prepare, being a role of a BA in any of the organization. This explanation is in high level mode. Whatever the explanation I have given in this video is in high level understanding about that. Of course, due to the time constraints and all that, I haven't gone through all this because it's a long thing, right? So whatever are you learning is completely long, because this is how generally business analyst travels. And moreover, the kind of explanation I have given, this is nothing to do with a domain or technology. It is nothing to do with domain and technology. Role of a business analyst, properly, apart from that, the kind of documentation, what is that they have to prepare, remains constant and same in every organization, irrespective of the domain and technology we are coming from. So this is all about this video. If you have any questions regarding this, any requirements, please reach out to the contact details, which will be posted below to this video. Thank you.